In this little video, I am going to show you how to add some textures and mess around with some live tracing and that kind of stuff. So the first thing I do is, for me, I actually have a pretty big collection of paper textures and all just kind of random stuff that I've collected over the years. So there's even like dust and that kind of stuff. So let's go back to where I just was. So I was in paper textures. I think white grunge is what I was looking at. Yeah, let's do white grunge. Just for... Actually, let's do this. So I'm going to bring this one in. Literally just going to let it go. So you can see it's a pretty big one. You need to make sure that they're actually big, because if they're too small, then they're going to get pixelated, right? Because I'm working with a raster file rather than a vector with my paper. So I'm making sure that I'm actually pasting it onto the proper layers, which is my background layer, which is right here. I should actually probably label this. I didn't. So what I'm going to do now is that I have this, I'm going to go into my transparency, and these are called blending layers. So each one of these are going to do something a little bit different. So dark, multiply, color burn, so some of it's just going to kind of come down to what you're kind of looking for. Where did it go? Color burn, yep. All right, so you can see it's subtle, right? But it still gives it, a little bit more interest. Overlay. Oh, I actually got to click on it, huh? Overlay. Soft light. Each one, like I said, are going to do something a little bit different. Exclusion. Saturation. Let's go to hue. Let's go back to darken. And so you can actually change the opacity of this as well. So I can actually bring this down a little bit if I don't want it to be, not mask. If I don't want it to be as intense. So I can actually kind of dull it down a little bit there too. You just have to remember that you're working with a raster image, which is made up of pixels. And so it's not going to resize as well. So if I wanted to try to resize this to really, 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 really big, it's not gonna work super well. So that's just kind of something you have to keep in your mind a little bit there. All right. So we did. Oh, yep. So we did the background kind of stuff, and I wanted to talk to you really quick about messing around with bringing in textures and live tracing them, or just images in general and live tracing them. There's a couple different ways and reasons why you could do this. I don't know if you noticed the hall pass in the out in the hallway with my face on it. That's actually how I got the image of myself to kind of look like that. So what I'm going to do is take these. I brought some images in already, to kind of common things that I do. I actually have books and books and books of old like etchings, basically almost like clip art, but it's technically not, where it kind of has all this like fine detail kind of stuff, which I use for posters and that kind of stuff all the time. Let's see if I can expand this a little bit and see how crappy it gets. It's not too bad. We'll just kind of run with it. So what you can do is that I can hit, go up to anytime you're bringing in a raster image, it's going to kind of pull this information up on top. I'm going to go to trace image, or image trace. These are all the different just kind of settings that you can use. I'm just going to go to standard or default and click on it and kind of see what happens. Alright, so what it did is actually just vectorize that image. This one actually turned out pretty good. Once, let's say that I'm happy with it, I can hit expand, and now it's actually shapes. So I can go in and I can manipulate, I can change anything I want, I can get rid of some stuff, I can move stuff around, right? So it's actually all just shapes. Sometimes what I want to do is, I'm going to back up. Sometimes I want to manipulate it or just kind of get more out of it than it's giving me with my default. If that's the case, if you click on this little image trace panel, it's going to pull this up over here. Or you can also just click on it over here as well. So I'm going to adjust my threshold. If I go to the left, you'll see it'll give me more darks, more lights, I'm sorry. If I go to the right, it'll give me theoretically more darks. Right, so, you know, kind of depending on what you want to do. Same with paths, corners, noise, that kind of stuff too. Paths, I believe it kind of rounds things out a little bit. I'm sorry, corners rounds things out a little bit. Path actually gets things a little bit tighter to what it originally was. And then noise, it just kind of brings the noise down a little bit. So I bring it down to 1. You can see how it changes that as well. Okay. And then the other thing sometimes I'll do too is I'll hit ignore white. So if I click on that, it'll get rid of the white, and what I'm left is with just the black stuff. But you notice here it says the trace is actually grayed out. I'm going to actually turn that off. Hit trace. And what I'm left with is this. One last thing you have to do is you have to hit expand. Cool. So now this is a shape, and I can actually color it any color I want. So if I hit I can turn it blue now. Alright. So you can see I think I'm on my background layer, that's why it's not really being happy right now. You can kind of see what that does and why that could potentially be interesting. Alright, I'll do the same thing. This time, instead of using a drawing, we'll use a texture. Let's just do image trace and see what happens. Alright, so it's kind of gnarly. Let's see, bring it down. And a lot of times with like textures and that kind of stuff, what I'll do is I will actually patient bump. So I don't want to see a preview every single time because I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the paths all the way up, bring my corners all the way up, bring my noise all the way down. I'll probably keep this in the middle until we'll see what happens. So this is going to kind of fine tune some of that texture, right? So you can kind of see that now. And then with that, I'm actually going to go ignore white. And then I'm going to turn preview off, wait patiently. Maybe, and hit trace, expand. Okay, one of the reasons why this is kind of nice is that, like I said, it is vector, right? So that way I could resize this to as big as I want it to. Let's ditch this, and this time I'm actually going to throw this in here instead. Right. The thing that does kind of suck though is that because there's so many points and paths and that kind of stuff, it does take up, like, it's a lot of information. So it runs super slow sometimes. What I'm actually do with this, I'm actually going to hit I. I'm going to select the same color as my background. And then I'm going to go here and then maybe go a little bit darker with my color. Alright, so now you can see I get that nice kind of texture thing going on in there. Maybe it's still a little intense, so I can go back to my blending and actually bring my opacity down just a little. Right, so it's a little less intense. Okay, cool. So that is live tracing and using blending modes and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to